Hey guys, we're here with Hanko, who just finished first place at NIAGARA Regionals with Floowandereeze. How are you feeling the deck for the format?
I feel tired for sure, yeah. And I feel like this was a long time coming. I haven't played this deck in real life regional for the last year. I've been playing other decks. I played this exact list at the Toronto regional last weekend, and I came. I lost the very last round, and then I went X2 basically. So I played the exact same list today, and somehow miraculously got lucky and won. So I'm glad. Shoutouts to my friend Nicholas for driving me here. Shoutouts to my Gary group chat. Shoutouts to TCG Player Infinite, the place I write articles on. Make sure to check out my articles. I wrote about this exact list on my latest one about road decks and everything. That'd be cool to check it out. I even wrote about Kevin's Fluffle deck. It was pretty good. Like it's all gas. Like it's insane. Yeah, without further ado, I guess we'll get into the most exciting Floowandereeze deck profile ever.
Awesome,
Gosh.
we'll get to us, and I'll link your articles down below.
Yeah. So clearly, if you're not playing with these pot cards, you are insane. These cards make any deck more consistent. Max it on these. You don't need extravagance, because extravagance is only good if they have Ash and then you have this as a follow-up, or they don't have Ash and you miraculously draw the exact 2 cards you need, so you don't need those cards. Next is other starter cards, Robina, Eaglin. If you see these cards, you are winning. If you see Map, you'll also be winning, and other stuff. Like there's a lot of other card combos, but for sure, you know, everyone knows you gotta see these cards. Next up are the Robina search targets. Street, Toucan, 1 and 1. You don't need more. Good talk. All right, these cards, similar package. Everyone should be playing this card. Robina can add this card, and then if you already have access to Eaglin, this is why you would add it. So that way, when you summon Eaglin, this can chain block. So then your deck never loses to Ash Blossom. And not only that, but this can also give you an extension, not only as a body, but it also gives you this field spell that reduces the tribute summoning method by 1. So essentially, this can become 2 bodies for your next follow-up tribute summon, as well as being a beat stick. Like this, in order for this deck to deal lethal to your opponent, one of my setups is like 2 M-Pens or Apex Avian M-Pen and this, so that way it's like 80-100 damage. So this package is really important to play. You must play it because everyone is playing Ash Blossom. All right, if you're not playing it, you're silly. And these are the cards that you search off of the Eaglin. 2 M-Pens. I used to play 1 in a long time ago, but you gotta play 2 because of the Advent combos, and you can add this off of Toucan while Eaglin searches the first one, and there's some like niche combos, but you do definitely need 2. 3 is definitely too much. It doesn't really come up unless you get really bad RNG. 1 Apex Avian, 1 Mega Raiza. This deck has a lot of infinite resources, especially because of Mega Raiza, but once they hit the Mega Raiza, you lose out to the infinite resources that this deck is supposed to have. But yeah, every time you summon Mega Raiza, you are flipping your opponent's resources so much that it's like, this card is the game ender for sure. Like every time this hits the board, you're supposed to give yourself a bit more momentum, and it does its job. Every time I summon this card, it was insane. I summoned this card 3 times in one turn today. Once off a normal summon, once off of the M-Pens, once off the map to M-Pen summon, and then the other one to like with my Simorg field spell to summon this, and I bounced this entire board and just went off of that. It's crazy. And this card also technically has more attack points. This only has 3,000 attack with the field spell. This is 3,100 attack, so this kind of came up one time to beat over a Baron. Yeah, next up are the consistency cards and cards that you add off of the M-Pen. 3 map, you know, what I can say, 3 Advent. These are the best cards in the game. You gotta play them. Everyone's playing hand traps, and this deck surprisingly can play around hand traps because it has its own inherent way to dodge Book of Moon. This card has created a lot of 3-card combos which can get you to double Dreaming Town, which you must play 2 Dreaming Towns because this card's on-field effect is not once per turn. Once you have all 4 birds in rotation, you gotta manage your resources to if you have map out as well, you gotta like manage how many times you're summoning off of the birds, so you can go like, oh, I'm gonna summon 2 birds off of this one, I'm gonna summon 1 bird off of this, and I'm gonna summon 1 bird off of this, and then tribute summon for like the Mega Rises. You have like 3 times you can Mega Rise your opponent, or 3 times you can Apex Avian your opponent, and especially the graveyard effect to flip your opponent's monsters face down. That's like another disruption for this deck. So this card is what keeps your deck stabilizes. And if your M-Pen gets negated and you have this and all the birds in rotation, you are stabilized. So you need to see this card, you need to search this card. This card's the heart and soul of the deck for sure, along with the Robina Eaglin. And then this card is the worst card in the deck. I hate this card. I wish I don't play it, but you have to play it for the mirror match, if there is a mirror match. And like, it comes up in niche scenarios to beat monsters that are unaffected by activated effects. And it also comes up turn 3 and 4 where you have to put back the Eagle and Search targets to draw real cards. So I hate this card, but everyone loves it apparently. Those are all the main core cards. Like all these cards here, you would probably never side out because they're all very important. And then these are like the tech options. I have room for 10 Feather Duster. Everyone's playing Imperm or back row cards, Skill Drain, TCP. You need to have at least one main deck out to back row. Call by the Grave. Why is this card still legal? That's crazy. 2 Book of Moons. There's an argument for 3, but like this card's good, but it's never good to draw multiples. So it's not impactful by itself, but it does have a lot of flexibility. That's why I really love this card. But I didn't find myself needing the 3rd. Then these are the last major options that you always want to see. 3 Ash Blossoms, 3 Dark Rulers. Every combo deck besides Vanadium loses this card essentially, so you have to play this card. It makes Prosperity and Duality even stronger, because otherwise they're not going to negate these pot spells if you don't play this card. So yeah, it's crazy. And then Ash Blossom, I was going to main deck D-Shifter, but I felt like if I think that there's more control matchups in the format, like Welcome Labyrinth and like Brand, like I don't know, this is a lot of decks. This card is more impactful than D-Shifter currently. That's just why I decided to main deck it. And that's 40 cards. Right. Extra deck. So I need to say anything? I don't make any of these cards. All right, cool, good talk. Check out my article for the whole list if you didn't see it. Next is the side deck. This is where the most of the work came in. Dimension Shifter. I side deck this card because I don't think it's very good against most of the meta decks right now, besides the combo decks that are what I think are rogue. So yeah, you have to play this because they exist, but I personally never needed this card, and I never drew it today. I wish I drew it one time, but or a couple times, and I just never came up, so don't need this card. But it is what makes this deck broken, for sure. The other card that makes this deck broken, Harpy's Featherstorm. You flip this card, you stack it on top of your deck of Ryza, you win. Like, TLDR, I don't know. Why is this card still legal? Who knows? I wish this card was banned so that way the Floowandereeze becomes more fun, but yeah, this card is stupid. When it's destroyed, you also get to add Harpy's Feather Duster, so that's cool. Next up, Runic still exists. You have to play Cosmic Cyclone for Runic. Wow. That's like the only reason, like that's the only thing I have to respect is like combo and like Floodgates and Fountain, I think. Yeah, what, the best thing about this deck is that I don't actually have to waste side deck slots for like Gimmick Puppet Lock, Ibly Lock, Bestials, like, because all the other decks I try to build in this format, I have to like constantly play around those cards or like Triple Talons, and this deck surprisingly can play around everything. So like I have room for like this card, and it was fine. Like I drew this card, it's great. The last couple of slots, let's see, what should I talk about first? 2 Lightning Storms.
Came up very clutch today.
Yep, just another way to beat mass. You have to respect control decks. That's all I gotta say. The Attack Mode monster thing, it came out once, and it was good. I'm glad. Like I kind of wish I played Raigeki, because this deck does kind of struggle with dealing with big monsters unless you have Mega Ryza to spin them away while you have Dreaming Town set. But this came up, and this was fine. The last couple of slots are the searchable DD Crow for the Branded and Mathmech matchup, and whatever, it just good. The searchable Dark Simorgh for the Labyrinth matchup or any other control matchup where if I go first, or yeah, I could just set this up on my opponent's turn or my turn, and then they can't set their traps, and then I probably win. And then these 2 Ghost Spells to just be more respectful to Labyrinth, because they have a really good grind game if they resolve their big Welcome Labyrinths and stuff. So you need more, like, this is just basically 2 more copies of Ash for that matchup, and it came up against Branded too, where I stopped the fusion trap or something, and it was kind of clutch. Yeah, other than that, like, this card's kind of mid, but you have but 2 is a fine number for sure. Like 2 along with this, it's kind of like a 3, but yeah, it was fine. Overall, I'm going to tell you what a lot of players will not tell you is you should try and play Flu this format. A lot of players will tell you not to because they think this deck's irrelevant. yeah, barrier statue's gone, but like this deck has infinite resources. This deck doesn't care about Ibli. This deck doesn't care about gimmick puppet lock. It actually plays into hand traps kind of fine as long as you draw the right combination of cards. Like when you draw the combination of hands where you're like, oh wow, I have the out to Imperm, I have the out to Ash Blossom, and you're able to get the stabilize, the Dreaming Town, and M Pen up. This deck will just steamroll any other deck because M Pen makes my opponent not be able to kill me. It gives you longevity while also giving you follow-ups, and it's like the best wall in the game. It's one of the key aspects of what makes a really good top tier deck is longevity as well as consistency. So yeah, I for sure encourage everyone to try play this deck exactly the way I built it. You just have to practice all the combos and know the siding patterns and stuff. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll probably see you guys all at Nets. You know, I don't know if I'll play this deck, but yeah. And shout out to Kevin Paul. You know, he played a really good deck. His deck is like fire. It's gas. Yeah. And that's our call. Yeah,
Awesome.
we gotta get
Thank
out of
you.
here.